That was amazing, Lev, or and can it be? I've spent the last week working on this flute and making a video about it, and I'm about done recording and editing and all that stuff. So I'm going to do a hot take on this, and I'm not planning to edit this at all. So this is going to be in video number 4. This is also going to be, as a whole, this is going to be video number 1. I've got one thing left to do to this flute, and that is to install the thumb stop. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to talk about it. So the thumb stop is going to go right there on the F natural hole, and it's going to be to index my thumb against for whenever I'm playing it, and I can't feel the hole very well because my hands are calloused. My thumb is calloused, and I can't always feel if I'm all the way on the hole or not. So, a little bit of super glue. This is my thumb stop that I made out of PVC. Little Trinity sign. And my hands are a little shaky. I've had mostly nothing but coffee this morning. So, to install this, you got a limited amount of time when the super glue is applied. I've already marked, I took a pencil and I marked center line. I didn't do that on the previous flute, and I got the Trinity sign a little messed up. So my thumb is installed. That's a good position. I'm going to very carefully take, and I need to see the center line. That's not going to work very well. I need to turn this thing around. Oh, I can just barely see the center line. Oh, that pencil's real hard to see on there. Okay. Nope. Dang. I messed that up just a touch. It's over probably 2 millimeters. Dang it. I should have marked it with permanent marker instead of pencil. I didn't super glue my thumb to it. That's a good thing because that would have messed up the finish. I won't know the difference while I'm playing it though. I can feel that now, and I can index my thumb against that. I've played twice at church, and both times I've had a difficult time hearing myself due to the monitor situation. And I've got that callus on my thumb, so I can't really feel it very well. I have been playing without this thumb stop, and it's been okay, but I just know at church I can't always hear myself very well. So I need a little bit of a positive engagement there. So that's good. So I've just finished this flute. I've made the last 4 videos about this, and this is a PVC Irish flute, low D. This is my 6th flute now, I believe, excluding some of the prototype models. And this plays in D, obviously D major, regular Irish flute. It also has a thumb hole to play an F natural, so I can play an F natural scale, and I haven't practiced this since yesterday anyway. So that's pretty rad. That thumb hole allows you to play F natural, and then you cross finger for 4. What is that? B flat. So I had experimented with putting a thumb hole down here to play F flat, and it just doesn't work as well as cross fingering. Cross fingering is just cleaner. There are 2 disadvantages to having the F natural hole there. Number 1, you got to make sure you get a good seal. You got to clamp that hand down a little bit tighter on the right hand. You got to make sure your thumb is all the way indexed, because if it's rolled just a little bit, then the flute's going to sound... It's going to sound bad. So, and then the other thing too, when you play a flute, you know, moisture condensates. And I was playing it one of the first few days, and slobber ran out of there. So that's gross, but that's part of playing the flute. Whenever you see flutists play, like at a recital or something, you will sometimes see they'll tip the flute down and spit will run out. So you just got to put up with that. So this is the synthetic wood grain. This is the 3rd one I've done synthetic wood grain on, and it looks really good. I'm going to flip the camera around, and pardon my messy office here. Let me see if I can kind of prop this up. Okay, pardon my messy office. Let me get a little more light. The GoPro likes a lot of light. Oh goodness. So there you go. I think I gotta watch if you get up too close, it won't focus either. So that's the natural, synthetic, not natural, the synthetic wood grain. I think it looks pretty good. Try to hold the camera back far enough that you can see. If it's not showing up well, I'll have to copy paste some pictures in here. Let me see if I can. There's the, oh, come on. I need to get this to where it will stop rolling. Come on, Flute. There we go. That looks pretty cool. But you can see that I got the Trinity sign off just like 2 millimeters. That's okay, it's functional. And it looks pretty cool too. So let me set this back up over here. So I'm not a flutist. I just started making these style of flutes 2 weeks ago. This is flute number 6. Prior to that, this is from several years ago. I had experimented with making flutes out of PVC and they were garbage. That's before I had plans and before I knew what I was doing. I thought, you know, ancient people figured out that you can take a piece of bamboo and carve some holes in it and it would make sound. So why can't I do the same thing? Well, because there's a ton of math involved, and I don't understand the math, but I found Doug Tipple's website, so I gleaned a bunch of information from his website, his instructions, and then Critter Bear. I have soaked up a lot of information. He's got a lot of very informative videos. Critter Bear is a YouTube guy. He makes videos on YouTube. He does a lot of LARPing and stuff, but he's a musician, he's a craftsman, and I think he's a good musician and a good craftsman. He's got very good taste in music, and he plays his flutes very well. He plays his PVC flute that he's got like $20 invested into right next to a bunch of expensive flutes, including one that's like a $2,000 hardwood. I think it's made out of Mopani or something. And there's a difference in tone, but there is not $2,000 worth of difference in tone. So it's pretty rad. PVC flutes are pretty rad. I played at church twice now. And, you know, because I just started playing music at church a few weeks ago. The reason for that, Soli Deo Gloria, all things that exist for the glory of God. Music, God gave us music. There was music at the creation of the universe. Job, the book of Job tells us that. Music is a really amazing thing that God has given us to enjoy and to glorify Him with. So if you're playing music, you need to be glorifying God with it. And you are, whether you realize it or not. So Genesis 52, I think, even if you mean it for evil, God will use it for good. That's Run and Run. This is the first instrument that I played at church, was the tin whistle. And then I played guitar, and I played melodica, and then the flute. And the flute is, I just started playing flute that week, like started seriously playing it. And the song was new, And Can It Be? That's the song that I opened with. That was a new song to me, a new instrument, and I had one important little tagline to play. I forgot the tagline, dang it. I practiced going out of the refrain into the tagline. That's it. That's the tagline I was supposed to play to carry us out of the second refrain into the third verse. And I screwed it up because the song was new, the instrument was new. Although I had practiced it all week, I hadn't practiced kicking back into that part. So just like I did now, I was like, oh, wait, which part am I supposed to kick back to play the little tagline? So I screwed it up, and it humbled me, and I learned from it, and next time I know what I'm going to do different. So this video is getting longer than I had intended it to be. And what else? Yeah, so I'm not a flutist. I'm still trying to figure out how to have an embouchure. My embouchure is not great. Hey, PVC flutes, by the way, on the embouchure thing, like, I made all these flutes, and then the other day I went out to my garage to play them. Every single flute was like 20 cents flat. I was like, what on earth? What am I doing to my embouchure that I'm screwing up so bad? because your embouchure obviously affects the sharpness and flatness of your tone, of your pitch. And then I figured it out. I made all these flutes during the daytime in the sunshine when it was like 75 degrees, and then I went out there on a cool day, it was like 60 degrees. So PVC has a really bad, what's it called, a thermal coefficient of thermal expansion or something. So when it gets hotter and colder, PVC expands and contracts a lot. That is one significant disadvantage to making a flute, a fixed length flute out of PVC. Ooh, I don't have it up here. I experimented with making a tunable, I've made 2 tunable PVC flutes. The problem is my brass insert was, the inner diameter was smaller than the inner diameter of the PVC pipe, and that messes with the second octave. So I've got a new brass tube ordered that is has a slightly larger ID than the ID of this. Most traditional Irish flutes, if they are not a cylindrical bore, if they have a conical bore, they're thickest right here at the joint, and they taper down in each direction, mostly down towards this end. So I don't think you can have a reduction in diameter here. I think it's got to be bigger. This is a decorative Irish flute. I purchased this off eBay for like 20 bucks back in like 2006, 2005. I didn't play the flute at all. I had bought a bamboo flute at a Renaissance festival, and I've actually started modifying this because the intonation was not good. There's no wedge, so the second octave is totally jacked up. So that's some JB Weld wood filler. I'm in the process of redoing this. Anyway, yeah, so this is really just for decoration. It's not really playable. This was made in like Pakistan or India or China or something. It's like they got the plans and they just made these to sell on eBay for, you know, 3 times what they have in them or whatever. So that was my first experience with Irish flute, and I couldn't figure out how to play it. And now that I know more about embouchure, I can play it. The instrument just is not good. So anyway, a couple of my other Irish flutes. This was my first real production, barring the first prototype. This is the first tipple style. This is the one I played at church. It sounds okay. Every single flute that I make gets better and better. This new one that I just finished, this is the best sounding flute that I have made to date. It's also the most versatile because I can play in D, F major, G, E minor, you know, B minor, what else? You can play a little bit in A. I can evidently play this in the key of, what is it, F sharp. I can play 1, 4, and 5 in F sharp. So yeah, that lady at church asked me to play a song in F, so I figured out that thumb hole modification, and then she said, oh, by the way, we're actually going to do it in the key of E flat, E, and F. So then I had to make a low C PVC Irish flute. Low C is pushing the limits of what I can do with my limited skill. So this is the low C, capable of playing an E minor, or I'm sorry, E flat major. There's my little thumb index for that guy. I think it looks pretty cool. I like that Trinity sign. Yeah, I'll probably make that as the thumbnail. So I think that looks really cool. Anyway, I'm gonna shut this video off. I think I've said more than what I originally intended to say. And one last thing on finishing the flute. After you do all the spray painting and all the finishing and everything, if your spray paint has been too thick, or if the polyurethane has been too thick, it will flatten the overall tone, and it will flatten each one of the holes. So sometimes you have to go back and take a little wad of sandpaper and go back into the holes and clean them out. The embouchure is very touchy. Everything in the first little 20 millimeters or so of where the air hits, it's got to be super clean. No snarls in the plastic, no like overspray. The porosity from overspray even makes a difference. So you want to go back and clean up your flute. And then evidently, or not evidently, apparently, whatever I'm a caveman. I'm not good with English. I don't know how I play music if I can't speak English, but There will always be little nicks and gouges in the PVC where the paint didn't stick, like right at the holes where I've drilled, or right here on the ends. And I touched all them up already, but I go back with a Sharpie. And if you only do one coat of Sharpie, you can tell that it's Sharpie. But let it dry and then give it another 3 coats, and then you can't tell at all. It just looks like black spray paint. So that's it. Those are my flutes. I am hoping to, I'm on a really big flute kick. I am really trying to practice every single day and get better. And I'm hoping I can continue to make these and get better and better. Like I said, I'm experimenting with making a tunable flute. I'm also looking at keys. I might make some keys out of sheet aluminum. I have tinkered with metal my whole life, so I could even sand cast some out of aluminum. I don't know. I'm really interested in keyed flutes, but those are my flutes. I'm going to continue to develop them, and hopefully God will be gracious. God is gracious, whether I perceive it or not. Hopefully I will be able to continue to develop my skill on playing and producing flutes, and I'll continue to get better and better. So, Soli Deo Gloria.